Lufthansa Flight 8362 from Frankfurt has to arrive in Beijing on time. But since the ban on night flights came into effect in Frankfurt, the departure time has had to be brought forward from the middle of the night to 11 p.m. with a stopover in Cologne-Bonn. At 20-30 hours, the dispatcher briefs the pilot and co-pilot on the weather, route, and the cargo on board the aircraft. That includes 6 tons of pharmaceuticals. They have to be kept at a steady temperature of about 20 degrees. The crew prepare for a long-haul flight, though the first stop and the end of their flight is just 20 minutes away.
We fly to Cologne and then we go home. Another crew will take over and they take off during the night. They took the train to Cologne earlier in the day. In economic terms, it doesn't make any sense.
The ban means scheduling shifts has become more complicated, and there are additional costs involved.
On the flight to Cologne, we use more kerosene, about 5,000 liters more. And there are extra fees for air traffic control and for landing in Cologne. We have to pay handling charges there and for ground checks. All the costs really add up.
In fact, it adds up to 15 million euros more just for November and December. As the pilots make their way to the plane, ground crew workers are loading the last items of freight. Lufthansa Cargo was planning to build a new freight center, but has now put the project on hold.
The ban on night flights is rather worrying. People are worried that eventually, not immediately, but later on, business will go elsewhere.
The fear is that other international hubs will get the cargo business, Amsterdam, for example. Foko Doyen is fleet chief, the most senior pilot at Lufthansa Cargo and in charge of 450 others.
Dann werden wir es entsprechend mit der Verkehrszentrale absprechen und alles klar. Dann geht's los. Wir sagen drin Bescheid wegen den TOBT. Danke sehr. Okay, bis gleich.
However short a flight, Captain Doyen always gives his plane a final check himself. In the cockpit, too, there is a long checklist to work through.
Engine 1, fire.
20 minutes in the air is new for us. We're used to long-haul flights, 6 hours on average, sometimes much longer, 10, 11, even 12 hours. A 20-minute flight is something of a challenge.
At 22:30 hours, the plane starts to taxi to the runway for takeoff, only to land again at Cologne-Bonn. Here, planes take off and land around the clock. A short while later, Captain Doyen and his crew are on their way home again by minibus.
Ja, schönen guten Abend. Hallo, guten Abend. Hallo. Einmal nach Frankfurt, bitte. Ja, bitte.
In Cologne, too, there is growing opposition among local residents to night flights. That's something Captain Doyen cannot accept.
Klar muss Köln auch damit rechnen, dass es
The Cologne airport can reckon with some new restrictions in future. But the fact is, the German economy depends on exports. If we want to continue being the world's second largest exporting nation, we need night flights.
Frankfurt to Cologne, just 20 minutes by air, but the return journey by road takes 2 hours.